All right, Cappies, welcome into December. This is your reading. I will be tossing in a little bit of astrology as I go. If you're really interested in learning to read your own birth chart and figuring out how to embrace astrology and use it to your best advantage, you can jump onto my course. There's a link below. All right, let's see what's going on. December is very I think great for you because we're going from this like kind of chaotic world that we've been in since June, okay? Since the planets started going direct and things started moving really fast. This summer was a precursor or like a preview of what's going to be happening next year. So if you want to know what really is going to be center stage for you in 2026, you can go check out your Capricorn 2026 reading, or you can take a look at just what happened to you this summer. What were the things that were sort of the focus of your life, June, July, and August? Because it may not resurface the exact same things, but those themes are going to resurface. So there may have been like a learning of a lesson this summer, and then you have to apply it next year. In December, I keep thinking about September, so that might be a message for some of you that meditate. That might be a message for some of you that September was important too. Okay. In the beginning of the month, we have a lot of kind of chaotic energy. Planets moving through Sag, coming from Scorpio, moving through Sag. We're really talking about not the outer planets, which was what I was focused on this summer. But in December, it's really about, Mars and Venus, Mercury and the sun. Okay. They're kind of tracking all together through Sagittarius and into your sign of Capricorn. It will happen later in the month, one by one, they'll filter in. And when you have more than, 3 or more planets in a sign, it's called a stellium, which means there's a lot of focus on that sign or on that house. Whatever house you have Capricorn in is going to be a major focus. And in the beginning of the month, whatever house you have Sagittarius in, which is the house right before it. So if you have Capricorn like in your 4th house in your astrology, it's the 3rd house that Sagittarius is in for you personally. And those themes are going to be highlighted. And when those planets move into the 4th house, that 4th house can be highlighted. 3rd house, the house of communication and learning, detail-y stuff, and experiential knowledge, okay? And then moving into the 4th house is kind of like what makes you feel nurtured. So I'll talk more about the astrology as we go. That meditate card jumped out. So I'm getting this death card. I'm getting a healer energy here. I'm getting a new life. I'm going to take those because they're loud. Air. What I mean by that when I say things are loud in a reading is like it's really speaking to me. So meditate, air, and new moon. Right on the solstice or the day before, I think, we have a new moon in Sagittarius at 28 degrees of Sag, very close to the galactic center. And the galactic center is a portal. New moons are about planting the seeds. And then we hit Capricorn energy the very next day. So this is really a winding up of a time this last 6 months that has maybe shown up in your life to be like, I just blinked and it was June and then became December. All of a sudden, it's just December. Things move fast. Things are going to slow down. Okay. We're going to have Saturn in Pisces squaring all these planets in Sagittarius. So that means there's challenges. It's squaring Mercury. It's going to be squaring Mars, squaring Venus, and squaring the sun as they move through Sagittarius. And Saturn just says, it's almost like Saturn is like, pew, pew, pew. Saturn is saying, okay, challenges in communication. Mercury, work on that. I'm going to take that under advisement, right? I'll take it under advisement. The sun in Sagittarius is very optimistic. And Saturn says, that's nice. Have you done your homework? Squaring Mars, that could be a big deal. Saturn squaring Mars only happens maybe twice a year or something like that, because Mars is Saturn moves very slow, and Mars squaring Saturn, Mars in Sagittarius squaring Saturn. Mars says fiery action, taking action on things. I want to take action. And Saturn says, have you built the foundation yet? Can't just jump out there. Like, I'm teaching a lot of people how to build YouTube channels and how to create independence in their life, which is very much a Sagittarian trait. I'm a Sag. I built something that creates independence in my life. And so I want to share that with you. You can jump onto my class if you want to. The spiritual business class happening in your sign of Capricorn. Oh, shocking. And it's really, when I used to be in video, I used to tell my clients that, like, you need to spend 60% of your time in the preparation phase. So the Sagittarian time period in December here is like, do I have all the materials? Do I have all the concepts, the ideas? Have I thought things through? Have I really connected the dots for myself? Because as we move into Capricorn, your sign, it's going to be much more ruled by Saturn, but much more about the actual building. So it's like, you've got to have the architect's plan. You've got to have the materials. You've got to know the color schemes. You got to, all that stuff so that you can implement. Okay. When we get to Capricorn later this month, it's about implementation. Right now, it's about bigger ideas. It's about thinking bigger. It's about connecting the dots in a lot of ways. Sagittarian energy for me is always about connecting the dots. And when we have those personal planets moving through there, it's really Venus is about my self-worth and value. Mars is about how I take action. Mercury is about communication. And the sun is about how I express myself. So when those planets are in transit, all of those themes are coming up for review. Okay? Before you can build anything, you gotta kind of walk through these lessons. So there you are. Underneath is the cardinal energy of Capricorn. We got the Ace of Pentacles. Wow. Four of Wands. More cardinal energy in your opposite sign of Cancer. Okay. Seven of Swords. And then the Three of Pentacles. There's something sneaky going on here. I feel like underneath the surface, what's going on underneath. It's interesting that the moon showed up again. That there's... I feel like you're wanting to build a life with someone, or wanting to build a business, or have an opportunity that's tangible with someone, but it's still not public. Nobody knows about it. Not that there's anything wrong with that, or not that there's anything bad about that, but that Seven of Swords is, it's like trying to get away with something. Wanting to build a life with somebody, or wanting to build, could be a third party. But it's more about, what's being drawn, my attention is being drawn to this dog and this wolf in the moon card. And then there's this crustacean coming up out of the water. These are things that's very scorpionic energy coming up out of the water. And the wolf or the dog, right? Like, which side are you feeding? Are you feeding the domesticated side of you? Or are you feeding the wild side of you? And Sagittarian energy in the beginning of this month of December can be about feeding the wild child in you. And then it's like reality strikes when we get into Capricorn energy. Tower. What? Sun. Okay. I like that. The Judgment card. Wow. Six of Pentacles. Queen of Swords. And the Five of Swords. If you are hiding something, if you are trying to keep something under wraps, it's going to get light of day. Okay? Somebody sees the sneakiness, or the thing that's going on behind the scenes. So, like, for example, could be planning a surprise birthday party for a fellow Capricorn, and someone's like, hey, I know what you're doing. hey, I see what you're doing. And I feel like this could be an air sign. Okay. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I feel like someone is kind of outing you for whatever you're doing behind the scenes. Even if it's like something that you really want to put out there in the world, it's like not ready for prime time yet. Like I'm practicing with my band secretly, and I want to go out on tour. And nobody knows that there's a band yet, but somebody does. Somebody is like, hey, I've been paying attention to you. I see what you're doing. Okay. I see what you're doing. Yeah. 4 of Pentacles, Page of Wands, 10 of Wands. So like can be a little bit of a childhood dream that you're kind of trying to keep from everybody. Something that brings you a lot of joy and happiness, and it gets outed. Okay. This month, someone is going to blow your cover. Whatever you're doing behind the scenes. Now, it doesn't mean that like all of a sudden, everyone's going to know about it, but somebody does. Somebody's going to know about it. Okay. And I feel like this person it's almost like this person wants something for their silence. Still waters run deep, Capricorn. Okay. So let's see. What about this Tower? Five of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, 8 of Swords, 6 of Wands. So for the longest time, this is like something that you have been keeping under wraps. You could have like a secret crush on somebody too. It's not like you're taking action on this, but either the person who is the focus of the crush or the focus of what you want figures it out, or somebody else does. And I just feel like you're of the opinion that, not that it's not going to matter, because it is going to matter. It's showing up in this reading as really mattering in December, that there's but there's just a belief that like keeping it secret makes it feel more exciting or something. Like I want to keep it secret, but now it's out in the open, and then it becomes a burden. All right. Then it becomes a burden, because then there's like there's something about like, well, now I have to make it real. And the beginning of the month can be the fantasy of, maybe I'm fantasizing I'm a rock star. So I have like I have my band and we're practicing in my garage, and like it sounds great, and I'm singing in the shower, it sounds good. And then someone goes, I see what you're doing, and here's how to make it public. And so you do it. And it's like, then you have to keep doing it or something. Okay. I mean, like they could book you for a gig. I'm just going to continue on with this metaphor. Okay. They could book you for some kind of gig, or maybe it's more on the spiritual side. Maybe you're doing something that's more about being a medium. Okay. And somebody finds out you're doing it. They're paying attention to you, and somebody finds out you're doing it. And so all of a sudden, like they're all over like Facebook talking about you becoming a medium, right? It's like outed. If it's a third party thing, we know how that goes. Like if that gets outed, then what happens? But this feels whatever it is, it was way more fun having it be a secret. Okay. And that might be the thing that you end up changing, that you end up working with, because you're like, it's like gotten out for a reason, because I need to become more serious. Okay. In doing what I want to do. And so by the end of the month, maybe you buckle down and you get more serious about it, or get more serious about this person, or whatever it is. It could be different for each one of you. So this Queen of Swords and the 5 of Swords, King of Cups, the Emperor, Ace of Wands, and the Hanged Man. For others of you, it may not be a person or a childhood dream like a band, but it could be, it could be a business idea, some kind of genius. Okay. If you want to know what your genius is, take a look at where Uranus falls in your chart. Everybody's got some kind of genius. And I almost feel like for a couple of you, the reason you get outed here is you're having a conversation. Maybe it was over the Thanksgiving holiday, or maybe it was just recently, where you kind of let this genius be seen. And then everybody expects it of you. There's a burden down here, though. This 10 of Wands, like maybe you as a child, you really thought that this would be cool, but then it's like, oh, all right, 10 of Wands. It's almost like, I keep going back to the bands. I don't know why, but like bands that have been playing the same album of songs for like 30 years. Like, can you imagine? Oh my gosh. And some people be like, yeah, that's great, because then you'd be a rock star. People still be paying attention to your music, and they want you to play the hits, right? You know, I like to hear the new stuff, but every once in a while it's great to hear the hits. But my God, playing the same songs over and over for 30 years. I'm a Sag, so that feels like it could get old. But Capricorn may not feel that way. You might not feel that way. So 10 of Wands. There's the Sag card, 4 of Cups, Page of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. So that is true. What I just said to you about like, wow, that could get old. It was sparkly when it was still my secret. And now that it's becoming common knowledge or something like that, I got to learn more stuff. I got to make it solid and real. I got to make a commitment to it or abandon it. Like that, you might be thinking about it that way. Very black and white kind of thinking. And I mean, as we move into Capricorn time, we're going to have, you know, that stellium of planets move in to Capricorn, Mars and Venus and Mercury and the sun. And so there's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure, masculine, feminine there, communication, the sun being in Capricorn. It's like all of a sudden, all eyes on you. All eyes on you. And what does a Capricorn do? Tries to make a job out of it. I get it. I have my Mars in Capricorn, right? So any hobby becomes a job, okay? Becomes a career path or whatever it is. And it's like, oh, I just wanted this one thing to be separate from reality for a while. I didn't want to have to. You don't have to. I feel like that's the aha moment for you. You don't have to. You don't have to make this public, okay? Or you don't have to continue on now that it is public, or now that it's, you know, becoming public. You don't have to. Because I see this 4 of Pentacles and this Page of Wands, and it's like, I've been talking with a friend of mine who's a neighbor who's really trying to figure out a career path for themselves. And I'm like, you know what? As somebody who does what I love every single day for the last 10 years, I'm going to tell you, you really have to love it. It can't just be something you can do. Right? I can change a tire. I don't want to make a living doing it. And I feel like that's the thing here. Like maybe the music or the childhood dream is much more fun when it's doesn't have the pressure of having to be your sole income, or doesn't have the pressure of public opinion on it or something like that. It's like, I just wanted it to be like my own. So now what do you do? Okay, so now what's next is we've got this new moon energy, right? This is about planting the seeds for the future. So let's get a sense. I'm going to continue on with this reading. Let's get a sense of your options. Obviously, you as a sovereign being can do whatever you want, but I feel like you have a mindset about like when this does show up or come out, like there's only one path. And I got to tell you, I think that's the learning here. You could do a lot of things. All right. So let's go deeper into this reading. Link is below if you want to continue on, Capricorn. If this is your reading, I'll see you over there. All right. I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.